Hello everybody, this is Toni Lehtimäki and I'm going to present self-leadership in this video. We are going to go basic construct what self-leadership is all about, and you will get kind of grasp what it includes, what kind of different strategies are including self-leadership. And like I already said, my name is Toni Lehtimäki and I am a lecturer of TAMK, and actually I am one of the staff members of Pro Academia, and Pro Academia is TAMK entrepreneurship unit. And a little bit about my background. I have studied 2 master's degrees, one in business and one in positive psychology and coaching psychology in London. And here in this self-leadership, I have kind of combined and integrated both of these things together. And in this video, we are going to go through self-leadership theory. And then when we get together later and when we have discussion, I'm going to bring what positive psychology can bring to self-leadership, and then we are going to discuss that together, and I'm going to show you a couple of models and a couple of theories. In my opinion, when we look at from different perspectives to one issue, we can get broader perspective and we can build something new. And in this course, I would like you to get broader perspective in when it comes to leadership issues. And I argue that in that way you can benefit the most. All right, the content of this presentation, I'm going to shortly give you definition of self-leadership, and then we are going to go through different sets of strategies. And as you can see there are 3 sets of strategies what self-leadership is all about. And there are behavior-focused strategies, natural reward strategies, as well as constructive thought patterns. And I'm going to give you some examples of different strategies as well, and I have little stories, because I think with the help of stories you can remember better what these strategies includes. But first, the definition. And when we think about self-leadership in general, it is we can see self-leadership as a self-influence process. How can we influence ourselves? And we can influence ourselves when we use these different sets of strategies, and they help us that we can control our own behavior and we can influence and leading ourselves more effectively when we use these strategies. And there, one more time, you can see all different sets of strategies. So behavior focused, natural reward, and constructive thought pattern. And we will first go in more detail in behavior focused strategies. And here can you see behavior focused strategies. And now I will tell you something. Or we go all the way back 1980s. So self-leadership has emerged from self-management theory. So first self-management theory came, but before that there was clinical psychologist who tried to help clients, people who suffered from clinical psychological issues like different addictions. And self-control theory has helped those people. And then later organization realized that, hey, these kind of strategies that people can control their own behavior is very beneficial also in organizational settings. And self-management theory was formed. And behavior-focused strategies is kind of the same what self-management theory says. So in other words, self-management theory consists of behavior-focused strategies, what you can see here. So that includes goal setting. I'm setting goal for myself. I will observe how I'm heading for that goal. Do I do right things? What should is there something that I need to change in terms of my behavior that I can get this goal easily? When I hit sub goals, when there is this bigger goal, you need to kind of divide it smaller sub goals. And when you hit those sub goals, you can reward yourself. And this is kind of, you can get more motivation when you hit your sub goals, and then you can reward it by whatever you want. Let's go to drink the beer together, or let's go to see the movie, or whatever or you can just cognitively think something rewarding. But anyway, always it's kind of important when we think about these strategies that when you have work hard towards something, and then when you hit the goal, you achieve something special, and it doesn't need to be such a huge thing. It can be smaller thing as well, like these sub goals. And then when you reward yourself, your achievement becomes stronger also in your mind, and that helps you to get energy for the next goal. But then there is very interesting this self-punishment, and I would like to have a discussion with you when we are in the class, that what do you think of that? I have heard that it is used in the USA Army, for example, if somebody sleeps, like they should wake up like 6 a.m. and then they wake up 6:30. Okay, now I haven't done my duty, so to say. So it was read in one book that they need to take cold shower and that kind of punishment. So how this can help those people is that way, that then, okay, I have suffered from the punishment from my mistake, so now I have deal with this issue and I can move on. But there are a lot of research, and also in my opinion, it depends on the person, but self-punishment, in my opinion, is not so beneficial, and I would like to have a discussion with you. Self-compassion is much more better, and let's have a discussion then later. But then, of course, there is also the self-correcting feedback. Self-correcting feedback, and I would like you to check, there is the YouTube video, short video link behind this link. I would like you to watch it because that's very, very beneficial. What does it mean to have a goal, and what does it mean to monitor and observe your behavior when you go every day towards your goal. So that's the very, very good example how you can monitor yourself each and every day when you are going, when you are taking steps toward your goal. And the self-cueing is all about, it can be environmental cue, something that reminds you the importance of your goal to yourself, and that helps you to keep your motivation level up. That can be some kind of a motivational poster, that can be some kind of object that reminds you every now and then the importance of your goal, and that can help your behavior towards that goal. So behavior-focused strategies includes personal goal setting, self-observation when you are going towards your goal, then every now and then you need to reward yourself, then self-punishment. I would like to have a more discussion because I argue that this is not necessarily good in my opinion, and then self-cueing and this goal setting. What is very important and what I haven't mentioned yet is the following. Goal needs to be very specific. You need to visualize in your mind your goal. You need to kind of see also what that goals look like. It needs to be really concrete. If it's too vague, then it's very likely that you will never achieve your goal. The more specific it is, and the more you can imagine, and when you can see the end result in your mind, it is very likely that you will get it, and you are able to build many different pathways towards your goal. And it's very important that you will write your goals down, because that helps you visualize, and that helps you to take necessary steps, what is needed towards that goal. And next, we are going to continue natural reward strategies. Here we go again. So let's continue speaking of self-leadership strategies, and the second sets of strategies are natural reward strategies, and they include two specific set of strategies. Before I go that far, it is very important to note, and it's very important to realize that now we are talking about strategies that includes intrinsic part of our motivation. So the motivation comes inside of you. When we talked about behavior-focused strategies in the first video, usually it means that it's external motivation that drives that behavior. So you will do something because of maybe reward or money that you will get afterwards. So behavior-focused strategies are aiming at maybe the task and activities that can be unpleasant, that you just need to do it, and then you will get maybe money or reward afterwards. But now when we are talking about natural reward strategies, now the intrinsic motivation comes to the picture, and that means that the activity or task itself is so rewarding that you are doing this activity for the sake of just doing the activity because you are enjoying so much for that the activity itself brings the reward because you love what you do. So it's something we can think about. I think every and each of us have some kind of very valuable hobbies that we are just doing because we love it. So now we can bring these kind of features to the work and job as well. And when we think about these strategies, there are two strategies. The first one is that we can do and we can change maybe some features. For example, if we are talking about our work and job, we can change some features based on our own interests and based on our own strengths. There is so-called job crafting, so you can craft your job in that way that it makes your best qualities shine and it brings your best strengths into a given activity and into a given job. And when we are using, for example, our strengths, then we are more energized and we start to lighten up our best capabilities and so on. So that's something that we can change the activity towards our best interest and best capabilities, and that's the first strategy. And then the second, we can shape our perception by refocusing another aspect of that job. And let me give you example. I love my job of being a lecturer or teacher or coach. But there are also some features in that job that are not so pleasant. For example, let's assume that there are many exams that I need to correct. As an example, it can be frustrating for me, but then if I take another classes, I take different kind of perspective, I take different kind of perception of that matter at hand. I can see that, okay, I love learning. I love to challenge myself. And now when I take another set of classes and I put myself, and now I see that, okay, students can bring some new kind of perspectives. They can challenge my own point of views. So basically I can learn something new based on the answers of students. And now it changed the whole picture. Even though it can be boring to correct exams, but if I take different kinds of perception, what can I learn from these students and his or her perspective? I can notice that, hey, I can challenge my own point of view, I can learn something new. So the activity becomes very rewarding. So that's the perfect example of how we can shape our own perception of this activity and we can get it rewarding as well. So basically, love of learning is one of my top character strengths. So basically I can use my strengths, and also in this example it brings joy and rewarding for the activity itself, which can seem very boring in that sense that you need to correct like 40, 50, 100 different exams and paper. You need to read a lot of student essays and stuff like that. But what I haven't mentioned yet, that natural reward strategies are designed to heighten the competence, the feeling of competence, and the feeling of self-determination. And these two are linked very closely to intrinsic motivation, what I already mentioned at the beginning. So maybe you have heard self-determination theory that includes autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And that is exactly what natural reward strategies consist of: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And then we have one more strategy, and that constructive thought pattern strategies. Now, when we think about that we need to change our behavior, I can challenge you. Is it enough that I change my behavior, just behavior? Or should I change my thinking as well? Or are they going hand in hand? I should change my thinking, my emotions, and my behavior, all three. So, according to research, if we want to make permanent change, all three needs to be changed: emotions, thoughts, and behavior. And this last set of strategies consist of different habitual ways of thinking. It consists of what kind of self-talk we are telling secretly to ourselves, and are we using our visualization, imagination, in order to perform better. So basically, we know that we all have beliefs and assumptions that are not necessarily true. So we need to first identify our beliefs and assumptions and thoughts that we want to challenge them. So if we have dysfunctional thoughts, beliefs, assumption, thoughts, it can be that they prevent our performance. So first thing, we need to identify those. And when we have identified those, we need to start challenge them. We need to challenge them in order to change them. And in this way, we can make change. It is more likely that the change will happen and our behavior will be more towards the best performance and what our capabilities can bring if we change our beliefs which are dysfunctional. And let me give you one example. I have always, when I was in London, we had to kind of bring some theories into, and we had to put some theories into practice. And I thought that I will challenge all the professor that this doesn't help so much in my life. So I decided to take one very weak part of my life, which was computers. I have been pretty lousy all my life. I used to be very lousy all my life when it comes to computers, and I thought, okay, this is the issue, or this is the topic what I would like to change. And how does this process start? It's that I have believed I have a thought that computers and we are not get along so well together. Okay, I have a thought, and now I need to, according to this identification of beliefs and thought patterns, now I have this thought. I need to challenge the thought. And now when I start to challenge the thought, the first thing what I need to do is that I need to find some evidence. Is there evidence for that thought in my past, or is there evidence that is against this thought? So I try to search for evidence. Second step, I can think, how useful is this thought to me if I want to develop and grow in terms of computers and even the knowledge of mine that I would like to improve my computer skills. So everybody knows that, okay, it's not so beneficial, it's not so useful to have this kind of thoughts. And then third can be that if I believe this thought, what is the consequences? And now you start to get the picture that, okay, if I don't believe this thought, what are then the consequences? And now you can realize that the consequences are totally different if I don't believe this thought. So now my common sense tells that, hey, there is no point to have this thought if I want to learn the computers. And this is kind of how we identify our beliefs and thoughts and how we can challenge them. I will give you the model when we get together, so-called ABCDE model by Seligman, how we can challenge our beliefs. But this was just an example. And then visualization, I already told you when we talked about behavior-focused strategies that you need to visualize. You need to visualize end result when you have a goal, and if you are able to visualize your successful outcome of that goal, and you can see in your mind's eye that you have already successfully done it, and you have imagined every step what you need to take, then it's very likely that you will achieve your goal. And a lot of athletes and sport world are using visualization, and the research tell that it is as beneficial as in athletes world. It is as beneficial also in organization, but not so many people are doing so yet. Then self-talk. What kind of self-talk are we telling secretly to ourselves? Is it positive or negative? It is the same thing. You need to identify your self-talk. And if it's more pessimistic, you need to challenge it and you need to change it. And it is enormous. It is huge effect on your performance if you are able to change your pessimistic self-talk towards more optimistic. You will reap out the benefits. So basically, it's the huge potential what you have in there if you can take these steps and put it into practice in your life. And we are going to talk about this more in the lectures. But now I would like you to do some exercises what you can find below this video. And thank you for listening. And I highly recommend you to read this article. An article can be also found in Moodle. So this was in a short presentation, different sets of strategies when it comes to self-leadership. And when we meet, we will go more deep in that, and I will bring you positive psychology theories that will enrich this theory, and then we can think about together what this theory, what do you think, what is missing in self-leadership theory, and what we should think about more broadly. All right, see you later, and let's continue. Bye.